everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Friday Night Smackdown here on UPRW. I am the Wrestling Doll back here to bring you all things Smackdown, the good, the bad, and the just ridiculously ugly. And I'm not doing it by myself. Tonight, joining me all the way from AEW Dynamite Wednesdays, we have Divine Intervention.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you.
And joining us, of course, will be the man who brings you what makes Beeman steamin', steamin' Willie Beeman.
What's going on? Yo, 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 yo. What's up, UPI Universe? And your man Steamer Willie Beamer here. And I'm lucky to be in the presence of these two wonderful, lovely ladies. And we're going to bring you guys SmackDown review tonight. Hope y'all enjoy.
And first things first, they bring us a little recap of what happened in the main event with RK-McBro versus the Bloodline, which if there's one rule that Mike Knox has of not betting against Charlotte Flair, my rule is with the way they have these pay-per-views go is don't bet against the Bloodline. You really can't. It's kind of redundant at this point. They'll make them look so weak on TV, and then when the pay-per-view comes up, it's like, bam, 180, they're dominant again.
Based on the final segment, and I know we'll get to that a little bit later on, but sewn throughout the entirety of the show, the Bloodline just seems really dominant right now, so I wouldn't bet against them.
Well, WWE already dropped the ball. We know, like, we about to get Roman and Randy. Like, I think it's, like, next pay-per-view or something.
The next pay-per-view's in less than a month.
Like, they already put out the advertisement. So, like, we already know, like, either Roman's going to do something to cause RK-Bro the belt. So, like, we already know what's coming. And so, I mean, but yeah, they make them look strong at the pay-per-views because that's where it counts. And for, him to be on God mode right now, that makes sense.
Well, only one way to keep a man in Gama, which is make him look weak in front of the mere mortals when they're in the hometown stadiums, only to make them look even more dominant and powerful when they're at pay-per-view stadiums.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the other half of that coming in to talk about everything that happened, that they're giving props to what they deserved, and basically Randy's saying that, actually Riddle says that every time that the Usos can't take care of anything, Roman Reigns has to come in and save their butt like a babysitter in a Team Protagonist movie about that kind of thing, which was kind of funny, and that everybody's kind of tired of it, and they want a chance to actually unify the belts without Roman Reigns destroying the contract for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was great psychology on their part by them. You know what I'm saying? Throwing the
Yeah, they
Roman
had a
thing
fair
out
point. Anytime those two don't do anything, Roman's got to come in and save them.
But see, that's how they get the match back. Because at first, by Roman ripping up the contract, it made it null and void. But so now you goat them into having them eggs Roman to be like, nah, let us fight. It was like, we gotta do this. And then they threw in the everybody will acknowledge you. And so once they said that, he bit, like, it made sense.
And speaking of people trying to rope their way in and put in some 2 cents, who did we have come out? The newest attempt to insert themselves into the Bloodline, the locker room leader. If you have to call yourself that, you're not, according to Michael Cole. Sami Zayn. And it's like, I'm happy to address this on his behalf because you don't snap your fingers and call Roman in here. And nobody wants to see the titles unify, which I kind of did agree with because it's kind of getting annoying. Like, if they're not going to do the brand split, what's the point? But he was saying that they should have a good time. They have a good thing. They shouldn't ruin it. And then Randy basically like, oh, what are you, their errand boy or what? And then
is this
make him flub over his words, and then before we know it, we get a Sami Zayn versus Riddle match that he was going to try to get done next week, but Adam Pearce is like, nope, we're doing it right now.
Wait, back up a second. Is this not the first time that Sami has tried to insert himself in the bloodline? Like, is he trying to
No, like
join Roman's
a week
faction?
or two ago, he overheard them talking about the bloodline. So he told them to try to get on their good side to quote unquote get his respect back as locker room leader, even though nobody respects that man worth a damn.
Okay. I was
Yeah.
wondering why Sami, but I guess that kind
It's
of makes
Sami Zayn.
sense.
Yeah,
The
he
man
just
cuckoo.
yeah, he just came out there like he had the bloodline shirt on and it was like, young, you know damn well they didn't condone you. And then that's why Adam Pearce was like, I know I can't say that I can't sanction the matches if you're fighting for the bloodline, but we'll make y'all you will fight Riddle tonight. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was like where kissing ass goes wrong and Sami Zayn, you know what I'm saying?
I
Had,
mean, he kept running away every time he had to fight Drew, and I was like, he ran himself out of chances. And so Pierce made sure that he didn't do that again and just gave him the match right then and there.
oh yeah, even McAfee said it during the match when Sammy tried to run. McAfee was like, "Yep, that's how he handles matches. He runs away.
It's
That's how
like the
he
boy
wins."
who cries wolf, but it said he runs away.
Yeah.
But it had to go up the chain. It had to go through so many different styles. Like, he couldn't say for sure that it was going to happen today, right? He's just a wrestler. What does he know?
Well, apparently more than most of us, apparently.
Yeah.
It was interesting how seeing how matches become a thing uh, during a WWE show these days. Obviously, coming from a different brand and having like a central figurehead that like, oh, okay, if you want a match to happen, it has to go through X person. It's interesting that the wrestlers themselves are able to kind of make their own matches, you know?
I
Doesn't make
mean,
sense to the storyline. And speaking of things that make sense, let's check on the messages from all the people. We got Zan, what's up?
what's up, Hassan?
We got George telling us what's up.
What's up, George?
And he's letting us know that he thinks that SmackDown was okay. Nothing to be hyped about, but it was okay. This one's trying to get us to acknowledge. Nope.
Elvis, what's up, Elvis?
I almost said something I shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
George says the match between Riddle and Sami Zayn was pretty good, knowing that Zayn's trying to make good with the bloodline. If he can, it'll be a miracle and a half.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna make good with him. I think he's just trying to use it if he had a connection.
Well, duh. Keep your friends close and the ones that are most powerful closer.
Nah, Elvis, I bow down, man. I'm not the boss tonight. These two queens are.
He
I'm
only
following
says I'm
it.
not the boss because he doesn't like the fact that I don't like everybody he likes. Well, too bad. I am not Big Daddy Cool. I am not EC. Deal with it.
I'm following their lead tonight.
There we got Ron right here.
Did you like?
Did you
Did
give
you
us a like and
share?
share? Oh, make sure y'all liking, loving, and sharing this video, man.
And follow and support us on all our social medias. If not, then what are you doing?
Yeah,
You
what
can
are you
find
doing,
them
man?
down below.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram. Uh, what's that? Patreon. What's that? YouTube. Facebook. Twitter. TikTok. Yeah,
We are
it's an
on.
app. We on
Just
there.
about everything. Well, we all know Sami Zayn ain't no locker room leader. The only one who's a locker room leader in SmackDown, even though he's not with everybody else now, is Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
Anybody with the big enough brain will think so, right,
Oh,
Elvis?
we definitely know that.
I'm screaming. Hey, okay, wrestling doll. I have a quick question. Oh, hey, it's my loving husband. Hi,
Oh,
babe.
what's up, John? How you doing?
What's up?
Um, what do you think about this whole Roman Reigns taking time off business? Do you think that it's legitimate, or do you think that it's not as big of a deal as people are making it out to be?
I don't think it should be as big of a deal as people make it out to be, but because of how so over and how much people like him and like watching SmackDown because of him or Raw whenever he goes on, I think some people are making it more of a bigger deal than it should. But
Mhm.
People are gonna react however they want.
That's fair. That is
It's
fair.
only a matter of time before others go bananas once they can't see Roman on TV for 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, he been hitting it like at live shows and little videos, like he been putting out on like Twitter and Instagram. Like he was gonna go away for a little bit, but he too hot right now. He like white. He white hot right now. So like, I don't think he going nowhere yet.
I mean, he's doing what they do best, posting up cryptic messages to get the people wondering.
Yeah. Even what he's saying at some of the live shows and stuff, like it's like, come
Yeah,
on.
because I know that's where it all stemmed from was him making comments about not returning to a particular city. And I think another take on it could be that he's just deciding not to do any of the real live shows, like be there for TV and be there for the pay per views, but not needing to be on the road as much as some of the other superstars.
Wow. That's like LeBron James like not showing up to like uh
Practice?
I know not away game. Like the fans be looking forward to seeing them. So like
Hmm.
just because you might feel like, oh, this town ain't worth me playing, but you got somebody that didn't spend their hard earned money that want to see you. So no, I don't think that's fair if he do
Hey,
that.
if you're in kayfabe, you're enough. You don't care, right, MJF?
Oh, yeah. MJF does not care about any of us at all. None of us.
But we already know like he's like the best fucking heel ever. So I mean
Oh,
that's
my God. Oh, he's so good.
like
I want to hate him so bad, but I can't.
Well, I already
He's
do,
so
so I'll do
good.
all that for you.
oh I don't like it was funny like I forgot what he said to it was somebody in a wheelchair talking shit to him. He said, "Stand up and say it to my
No,
face."
he was like, "Look what I could do," and stood up. And the
Yeah.
guy was trying to stand. He was like, "Nope, you're cheating. You're cheating." I've seen that
like
Oh,
clip.
man. He
like
is a piece of trash.
like one
Oh
a little
God, a
kid.
piece of trash and a probably cheap fake Burberry scarf.
Of course, it's fake. Well, it might not be fake anymore. I'm sure
I'm
he's
pretty
being
sure he
paid
got some
very
type of
well.
sponsorship with them or something now, cause
Might as well.
he gotta have a sponsorship with him. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure he makes good money off of merch and stuff like that, especially you know what I'm saying from AEW and stuff like that. So I'm pretty, but yeah, like
Mm-mm.
he advertised it too much for him not to be getting paid for it.
Yep,
I certainly hope so. Well, we've hijacked Smackdown enough with
quite
our
a bit.
AEW
I
talk.
was gonna say, let's talk about the
Uh,
Riddle and Sami Zayn match, which was pretty good. Does anybody feel like when they're watching Riddle wrestle, especially with having some of Randy's moves in his repertoire now, that he kind of looks like a young Randy Orton in a way wrestling?
We talk about that quite a bit, actually. Although we
Like
don't
he's improved so
follow.
much. He looks like a young Randy Orton wrestling in the ring, and then Randy, it kind of feels like he's looking at his younger self in there.
Right, right. No, Joker definitely talks about how, seeing Riddle so close to Randy, it really does remind him of a young Randy Orton and, like, kind of taking him under his wing a little bit. And I think that that's really cool. I am honestly glad that they haven't broken them up. I thought this was going to be a short lived tag team and, flash in the pan, but I'm really glad to see that they've gotten over so much.
Hey, I mean, they split them up They had you feeling they were going to split them up, and I would know because I was at the taping when they had Randy do the RK on Riddle. I mean, everybody was chanting for him to do it because I was like, I'm getting kind of over this. I'm kind of getting bored of these two. But then as it
Hmm.
kept going, I'm like, no, don't split them up. Everybody loves them. Why mess with a good thing? He'll be back. Willie.
The match was good. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Yeah, the match was good between Riddle and Zayn. It's been a while since I've seen Sami in the ring, but he looked good. But Riddle, I mean, just especially with Randy's moves, you're right. He does kind of remind me of a young,
Yeah,
snappy
with the
Randy.
RKO, the body slam, when he does the delayed DDT.
Even him just going down and like beating the ring like Randy does. I was like,
That's
oh my
that
gosh,
place where you hear the voices.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, a solid match for me.
It's a very solid match. And then after the commercial, we get Shinsuke walking backstage and he bumps into the person he took care of last week for the bloodline. Shinsuke Nakamura, and he told Zayn, if Roman's the head of the table, then that must mean that he's the table's donkey. I mean, I can say it the table's ass because, I mean, he still is an ass, so. Can't change tiger stripes, am I right?
Absolutely. It was nice to see Shinsuke. His English has gotten really good.
I know. I love watching Shinsuke, and I love watching him come in the ring because I love watching Pat McAfee dance to it. And when he got to dance to it after Shinsuke came back, I was like, I'm so happy.
Oh, you have a really cute dog.
Move, Kane.
Oh, doggy.
He's so cute.
Say hey.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so adorable.
That's Kane.
Very cute. We just finished talking about the Shinsuke segment.
Where he called Shinsuke the ass of the table.
Oh, when he called Sammy the ass of the table. It's so good to see Shinsuke's English get better, like you said. Like,
yep.
And that's all that he needed to do for real, for him to get over a little bit more. Like his English, him to be better on the mic. He already had the personality. We just couldn't understand what he was saying. So that's I'm psyched for that. And you know they about to have a little beef going on. So I want to see where that goes. Because Sammy about to be like a job anyway now. He's reminding me of Mick Foley a little bit, man.
I mean, why not? Speaking of champs, we get the new reigning, defending, fighting SmackDown Women's Champion in Ronda Rousey, basically calling out for an open challenge, saying, I'm going to be a fighting champion because Charlotte Flair was a 13-time champion. Not anymore. And I will take on anybody. And who comes out? Raquel Rodriguez. Now, I did say for a while I did want her to be called up to SmackDown to fight Charlotte. Because they're both very big and they're both very similar in stature, in style, in height, muscle mass, almost everything. So seeing them go at each other would have been interesting. But seeing the match with her and Ronda wasn't bad. I just felt like it was kind of like Raquel was doing most of the work, but I get why, because Ronda was badly injured. You could see some bruises here and there from Sunday. I mean, they went through literally almost everything that Sunday just to get them to say, I quit, which was like a semi-main event match, which it should have been. But it wasn't bad nonetheless.
I agree, and I think the injuries that Ronda sustained kind of helped Raquel be able to stand out a little bit. You know, if it were just a normal Ronda match, I feel like she would have gotten squashed or at least close to it. But I feel like because Ronda was injured, well, not really injured, she truly was injured. She
I saw a big round bruise like this on her side.
Yeah. So no, fake injuries there, but the fact that she wasn't at 100%, I feel like Raquel was able to showcase what she could do, and it be believable. Ronda was still protected under the guise of, okay, she's injured, she's not at 100%, but Raquel had some serious moves.
I've seen Raquel live like 5 times. The woman is crazy.
I was impressed. But yeah, I felt like she really was pulling a lot of the weight in this match, which could have been to her benefit, honestly. She came out looking strong in this one.
I'm just glad it wasn't a squash.
Strong contender for the future.
Yeah. I agree. I'm glad it wasn't a squash either.
Then we had a... Oh, sorry, Willie, go ahead.
When Raquel came on, I was like, oh, God, it's about to be they're about to have Ronda just like completely annihilated. But then as the match started going, I was like, oh, okay. They didn't make Raquel look weak for her to beat. I've been coming. And Ronda still was able to look solid like a champ. And she, like y'all said, she showed signs of being injured, So it was pretty decent, though. It was probably it was one of the decent marks for the tonight SmackDown show, I would say. It was a decent match.
I mean, if they had Ronda at 100%, I felt like if they give them more time, it probably could have been maybe about as good as WrestleMania 35 with her, Charlotte, and Becky main eventing. Like, it could probably be a match that good in the future one day. Because those two, they have quite good strengths, so they could really play off against each other and be good dance partners when it comes to wrestling. Speaking of those trying to be dance partners, we have a backstage segment with Shotzi getting mad at Adam Pearce for not getting the match against Ronda. And then Aliyah walks up getting mad, being like, "Oh, Shotzi locked me in the locker room. That's why I couldn't get out." She's like, "Honey, you don't know how a door works, and that's your fault." And then they start bickering. I'm like, what's he gonna do? At this point, I feel like they might give them a contenders match, have them both go against each other, and then whoever wins goes against Ronda one day, and then Ronda beats them, obviously, because as liked as both of them are, they're not ready to be champion.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I wish that they would do more segments like this in AEW. Like, not to compare, but like the women's division could use more segments like this where you're like building up to a story. Like, this didn't tie to any other match that we saw tonight, but it does set the building blocks, like you said, for a contendership match and potentially, a title match down the line for one of these ladies. And it still makes sense. So it took like 30 seconds just to set this up. And I think it goes a long way in storytelling.
Feels like AEW is trying to be what WWE isn't right now. So I feel like a lot of the stuff that they do on there now, they're trying not to do over there. Which is why, like, a lot of the stuff as far as like the women's division, like the storyline and stuff, they don't really build up too much with it. So, I mean, like, you never really know what they're trying to do sometimes until it's like way later down the road, because sometimes they'll just draw stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with Julia, it's taking forever.
Yeah.
Like, what's up to here? She's still herself, but it's up to here. It's like, what are they going to do with this woman? Are they going to have her be in House of Black? Or are they going to have her find a way to get that stuff off her face and be back to being?
I think the turn is going to happen.
Still kick ass.
I truly think the turn is going to happen, but I think I had hoped it was going to be this past week when we saw them together. But obviously it didn't happen. They're continuing to draw it out. And while I'm glad that she's getting a segment, it's kind of like, okay, you need to pull the trigger on. Like, you needed to pull the trigger on this a long time ago, personally. But now that you're touching on it, don't keep drawing it out.
By the time they keep drawing it out and they have it all figured out, it's going to be New Year's Eve. And we're only in May. I don't want to wait somewhere months to find out what happens to that woman. Nobody's going to care by then.
Yeah, I know. That's the concern. But who knows? As we say on Wednesday nights, we'll just have to wait and see.
Only time will tell. So then it cuts the commercial. We go back and we see Kayla talking to Madcap Moss in the ring, basically congratulating him for winning, and that he's basically berating Corbin for having his priorities wrong, that he looked past them for his future. And then he's saying all the things he wants to do, win Money in the Bank, like change the belts like suspenders, basically just being his silly self. Mm-hmm. And then Corbin comes in from out of nowhere and attacks him the same way that they attacked Drew before Royal Rumble or around that time. The same way, sticking his chair in and instead using the Andre the Giant trophy, which according to Michael Cole weighs like 100 pounds, and just bash the thing in to where that man can't talk no more. And I love how they always have the refs wait until the very last second so everything can play out.
Mm-hmm.
And then just bring them on this freaking hospital stretcher.
I thought they were going to have to carry him up. And we both, Joker and I, were looking at each other like, there's no way that they're going to carry this big man up the ramp. I'm glad that they had a gurney. At least it was a little more believable.
Well, I mean, they got to make it look a little bit believable. I mean, they can carry Edge out from the thing without needing a gurney, but they did it with him anyways when Seth Rollins attacked him.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know, like being at a show and like saying like what was that what's that ring or like under the ring or something, or they when you see them bring them out in the metal case and then they go up under the ring and then like the camera like bang and it's like it's more like like that, but like I know it, man. I'm ready for him to put me beef to be over with, man. It's like Actually, it's running sports now. Like,
Yep. So then we had our second championship of the match of the night. We had Boston Glow, Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Natalya and Shayna Baeszler, which it's good. I'm just happy this is just the last of the makeshift tag teams that they have that are going at it because all the other ones were kind of meh. And with them basically attacking the arms, trying to bring them down to ensure that they wouldn't be at 100% enough to kick their ass and take the belts away from them, which I don't think that those two really need it right now. But watching's not bad. It makes Sasha and Naomi look good. I mean, they don't really have a problem with looking good, but can't go wrong with having them being helped out a bit in that aspect. But regardless, seeing the cradle pinfall on Natalya by Naomi to retain the belt is a satisfying way to go. It'd been funny if it were a sharpshooter, but
Yeah, this was a good match, honestly. Seeing everybody in action was really nice. Naomi getting the win was really cool because I was curious when they first came out as tag team champions, they didn't mix their music. It was just Sasha's music. I'm like, oh, that's
yeah, I was
interesting.
wondering, like, when are they going to mix the music?
But since she won and they played it on the way out, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
They're probably going to be one of those tag teams that don't really have to mix the music like right now. Maybe they'll have to try to figure it out to see what works because they have very different beats, both their music.
Yeah.
Especially since remix versions.
Yeah, I don't know if taking those two songs specifically, but I guess it just depends on how long they're going to have the belts.
And how long they're going to have the storyline going and not have it be the same thing as Sasha turning on her partner again.
Yeah. So here's the interesting question that I have. How did Shayna and Natalya become a thing?
They made a makeshift team for WrestleMania. Because first it was Naomi and Sasha versus Zelina and Carmella, who were then the champions at the time. Then they made makeshift team number 2, which was Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, which is why with them constantly losing, now they had a storyline going on Raw.
Okay.
Especially with Rhea not being it was part of Edge's faction. And then they added Shayna and Natalya onto the list because they weren't really utilized most of the women. So like, oh, what can we do with the women to bring them into WrestleMania? Oh, let's put everybody in tag teams. I mean, they got rid of so many women. What else can you do?
Yeah. It was just interesting seeing them coming out together. I was just like, what's the story here?
The weird pairing. But WWE likes doing weird pairings. I mean, look who our current Raw tag team champions are.
That's fair. And I guess anybody can get over, essentially, if you figure out what your niche is and try to play to the crowd in that way. Because I don't want to say nobody thought RK-Bro was going to last this long, but I certainly didn't. So I guess a pairing like Shayna and Natalya could work in some. I just saw Doctor Strange, so in some parallel universe, they are so over, it's crazy.
Yeah, maybe they'll be over after WWE Created gives them something else to do. Like maybe have one of them go out to the women's championship because it's getting kind of boring seeing them together, but they need a rival team for Naomi and Sasha. So that's the only reason why those two are even together still in the first place.
Very, very interesting. I literally
George, I love you, but that is one of the worst ideas I've ever heard because those two's reign are boring. And Naomi and Sasha would eat them up for dinner.
I was going to ask because I saw one episode of NXT. I think Joker was on an episode of NXT.
Yes, bad guy.
Yes. And so I saw Toxic Attraction for the first time, and I was curious because I was like, man, it's good to see what Mandy Rose has been up to. And I thought that they were a good little faction. What is your beef with Toxic Attraction?
Their reign is boring. The only thing it consists is the only way they win, like 99% of the time, because they've only had maybe 1 or 2 matches where they won clean, is if somebody interferes. If Gigi and JC are about to lose, Mandy has to interfere. If Mandy's about to lose, JC or Gigi or both of them have to interfere. It gets so old and boring. I get tired of it. Plus, the reign is so boring. I'd rather watch paint dry. Every time I watch them wrestle, I want to watch paint dry. That's how bored I get of those two.
I mean,
It's like
I'd
give
be
the belt to
lying.
someone else.
I'd be lying if I said that Mandy obviously makes that faction,
Yeah.
but
It's like the baddie section over in AEW in that sense. And I haven't really seen too much of the baddie section, so I can't say like whether it's good or not. But it's kind of like that, the pretty girls of it essentially.
yeah, that makes sense. And we haven't seen too much of them either, so it'll be interesting to see if they do pursue, because we don't have an equivalent like women's tag team championship belt situation. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But Toxic Attraction, I think, should just stay where they are. I think they're over in NXT, and NXT needs some
Not as much
attractions.
over. I can see like when they pipe it in, and I can see a good portion of people just sitting down not doing anything. Some
Damn,
people are bored too.
Wrestling Doll calling it like it is out here.
I mean, look at it. They had them at Stand and Deliver. They get the belts taken away from them by Dakota and Raquel to give them back to them 3 days later, and then Raquel's in SmackDown. It's like, why take the belts away if y'all were going to get them back? You should just kept the belts from them so they could have a longer reign.
Hey man, that's fair. Look, I'm just a visitor here.
It's fine.
I'm just a wandering traveler.
You can be a wandering traveler like Elias was, so.
Oh no. Oh, I can almost hear the pain shriek from the living room from my husband. He was such an Elias fan.
So he's not a big thing. He's not into his little brother Ezekiel.
Oh no, not at all.
Is he like Kevin Owens trying to prove to the world that that's Elias?
Honestly, yes. He wants him to. He's like, just send him away. Grow the beard back. Like, just let him come out and sing songs about people's sports teams. Like, what was so wrong with that?
I don't know. Listen. Creative is iffy. I don't know how much of Riddle's weed they're smoking, but it's affecting their minds so much that they can't even make good ideas.
I don't know. That one's for you, babe. That rant was for you.
Listen, that rant is for me, and I say just about every other time I'm on.
Oh, man.
So with ranting, we had Drew Gulak talking to Ricochet, basically all sad that he's like feeling down, that he's not getting better. He's like, what should I do? He's like, Ricochet's well, like, you got to work. You got to pump yourself up. You got to be your own biggest supporter. If I give up, I wouldn't have my Intercontinental Championship, which he finally gets something.
My boy.
Because Lord knows he needs something. And I'm tired of people on here saying that Ricochet sucks. He does plenty well. He's good in the ring, and he's good at selling. Like, he is awesome as hell in selling. I love watching the compilation of selling.
Whoever said it is no longer a friend of mine. Ricochet,
go talk to EC about it.
Man, EC and I are mortal enemies. Jesus, mortal enemies.
Well, there's another reason for him to be your mortal enemy then.
Oh God! First Rhea Ripley, and now this.
I know. Wait, you like Rhea Ripley too?
Of course I do. Especially when I found out that she was talking shit to Chris.
You mean when she called him a peasant?
Yes, he is a peasant.
That will forever be funny.
Mm-mm-mm.
So after he leaves, because he's like, next time I see Gunter, because last week he got chopped so hard that everybody all the way in Manhattan could hear the chop. He's like, I'm going to whoop his ass the next time I see him. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, he's going to be at the corner. And what happens? He's at the corner. He rips the man's shirt apart and then poof, chops that man into next week's SmackDown.
I felt that one.
I felt it. You felt it. Everybody in Hawaii felt it.
That's a big man.
Yeah, and if he can take a chop like that, then my God.
Personally, WWE are walking a very fine line with this whole German thing.
Aren't they always walking a fine line when it comes to these foreign characters?
You know, you're 100% correct. You truly, truly are. And I would be lying to you if I said that I did not turn to Joker during this segment and I was like, so Nazis, this is it. We're doing it live. But
Apparently they are.
I have
I mean, people
German
had
hair.
issues with his name because of that, but he's like, hey, y'all would have said the same thing if they changed it from Gunter to Walter. So
I mean, look, people are going to have something to say regardless.
yeah,
Whether
I
you
know.
change the name, whatever. But as someone with German heritage, like, this really is borderline offensive. Like, he didn't really do or say anything, but you know the stereotype that he's portraying. And
Yep.
it's just like, wow, you are okay with putting that in a major media outlet like this. And they just don't care.
I've seen compilations of the stuff they put out back in the day that's borderline offensive. They really don't care.
I mean, look, Attitude Era stuff truly was offensive. There was nothing borderline about it. They said
I don't
the
even think that
N
word
word on
existed back
TV
then.
multiple times.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think the word borderline existed when it came to being offensive over there back in the day.
Yeah, that's wrestling. I don't want to say that's wrestling, but I feel like that's entertainment in a way, that shock value, and what can you say or do to get people talking about your product or your brand. And it's like, at what cost? Truly, like, culturally, this is not a good look, but people are talking about it. We're talking about it.
Yep. And speaking of things that aren't a good look, we have the rabid dog of the Unholy Trinity Fight Night, Butch, go against Kofi Kingston after beating Xavier Woods last week. So basically, they went from Pete Dunne, the cold calculating, joint manipulating, submission king, to this rabid giant man dog thing from Tom and Jerry, of whatever we want to call it, going against
Mhm.
Kofi Kingston. I mean, they could have him be a little aggressive, but do they have to have him act like a freaking dog? I mean, Pat McAfee did mention he acted like a rabid dog.
I want to like Butch so badly
I know
because I really,
he acts like a little, he acts like a bully in elementary school that's like super mean, super aggressive, and when he doesn't get what he wants, he throws a temper tantrum.
yeah,
Except when
he
this one
looks
wins
like
or loses, he runs away.
he looks like he is hopped up on something. But I
All
know
I'm
that
missing is the foam.
like I said, I'm a fan of Pete Dunne. I've followed everything that he was doing in
I've seen
NXT
him
and
live.
NXT
It was
UK.
fun.
I
I
think
started supporting.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think we did manage to see him live at least once, and I mean, just in person on TV, like, he was an amazing character as Pete Dunne, and I don't know why they felt like they needed to change it. Like, he already embodied to me like what a British bruiserweight truly brought to the table, but now you've made him a caricature. Now you've
Was
made
it
him a
like, okay,
stereotype.
we have a submission person in Shayna Baeszler on SmackDown. Let's not have that. Let's not have a male version of that and just make him be crazy.
I mean, I'm glad that they circled back to the whole running away thing, I guess, because that was
Yeah, but this
prevalent
time
from
they
the
had him
previous
run
week.
back,
But
had him lift his arms up to be victorious. And then when they tried to do it themselves, it was like, no, I wanted to do it. Don't do it. Don't touch me. I'm like, what are you, 5?
here's my question: how did he teleport from up there to? I mean, he had to have been booking it around that stadium.
It probably was. I mean, having the energy after beating Kofi Kingston in the ring. I mean,
True testament to the athlete that he is underneath all of this facade.
speaking of true testament to athletes, we got a true testament to the athleticism of ass kissing with Sami Zayn backstage talking to Paul Heyman, basically trying to make sure that the tribal chief's not angry for taking a match on his behalf to ensure that everything is okay with the bloodline. And then Paul's just like, you're appreciated, and basically go away. Because before he was like kind of scared, like, don't leave me alone with this man. Like, what's wrong with him? Kind of
He
looked
just
like
wants
Sammy
to.
hadn't showered for like a week, and he was like, oh, get away from me.
Yeah, he was a little rough after that match. He just wants to be one of the cool kids so bad.
Well, he's not. Well, when you act like that, you can't be a cool kid.
Tell that to Sami Zayn.
You can't tell anything to Sami Zayn. It'll go in one ear, out the other, unless it has the words tribal chief has added you to the bloodline.
It's the only thing he really wants to hear these days.
I mean, that and the fact that he's right about every conspiracy theory he's ever had since he started doing that in WWE.
Is that
He's been doing it for a
that's?
hot minute now.
I was gonna say that. Is that real? Like, has he actually been right about all his conspiracy theories, or is that sarcasm?
I don't
Do
know.
you know?
I don't pay attention to half the stuff he says or does.
I was gonna say because to me, Sami Zayn, like that meme of the guy who's standing in front of the bulletin board with all the pinpoints and all the string and the lines, and he
Yes.
to me that is what Sami Zayn embodies. So I don't like. I know he's had a lot of conspiracy theories, but I always thought that they were just
Listen, the only person who will tell you that his theories are right and correct are Corey Graves. He's the number one ass kisser to the heels. Just like whoever that is on AEW commentary, which I don't know who because I don't watch it enough to know.
Our dynamic is very interesting. We have a very sweet old man that actually really likes the heels, and so it's hard to dislike him. But he does like it's strange. It really is very strange. But everybody
So
loves
you
Tony,
like him and you can't hate him.
right?
I mean, I
Exactly.
don't like Corey Graves and I can't stand him. So that's why I like watching SmackDown because there is nobody like Corey Graves. It's just Pat McAfee and Michael Cole. Michael Cole's more likable now than he probably was like 10, 20 years ago, but
He and Pat have really good chemistry, actually.
yeah, they do. Hi, thank you to WWE for adding Pat onto there. And then we get to our main event of the night with the Bloodline coming out, which in turn for me was like looking away because I get bored every time they pop up on my TV.
Really?
I'm not a Bloodline person.
Oh
The only
my
person on the Bloodline
goodness!
I like is Solo Sokoa in NXT. That's the only one I will watch.
He is very impressive. I saw him during that NXT episode as well, and I was very impressed.
I saw him since his debut.
Wow. Has he improved? I'm assuming yes, because
Very
when I
much
saw him,
I
he
was
was going after
surprised
the
they didn't give
title.
him the North American Championship at Stand and Deliver, but I guess they want to draw out that rivalry storyline with him and Cameron Grimes some more.
It was good stuff. The match he had was really good. So, but as far as the Bloodline,
Listen, all of y'all can buy Bloodline t-shirts and wear them. I will be the only one that doesn't wear them. Heck, I'll stick to whatever merchandise I find online and I will buy it.
wait. Look, I loved them before they were the Bloodline. I am just very proud of them that they've managed to put this all together and are as over as they are. Because look,
It means
I
they're doing
love
their
them.
job right. It means if I don't like them, they're doing their job right.
Absolutely. I agree. If you're going to be the number one heel, then nobody has to like you. But for me, like we were there when Joe came back from the most recent bout with cancer and everything, and he was Joe. He was himself. He wasn't the wrestler, and it was really beautiful to see him just as a person. But seeing Roman as this head of the table, tribal chief, and he is beloved by the people. Maybe not you, and that's fine, but the WWE universe as a whole has accepted him as this figurehead of WWE right now. And I just
this is
couldn't be
what they
more
wanted
proud
for
of him.
years, so I get why they like him like this now.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to turn face anytime soon.
No. This is it for a while. And I don't know what happens. Bless you. I don't know what happens to, obviously he has both titles right now. I think that Cody is hot on his heels for one of them. I don't know which one. Drew also is a contender from what I understand. So once he's no longer the focal point, what then happens to Roman Reigns? It's a question a lot of people are asking right now.
Well, that's a question that people have been asking. Like, what happens if Roman loses a belt at so and so pay per view? What's gonna happen to him then?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he can get somewhat interesting for some people to try to work his way back to being a champion again. Because I remember when I saw Raquel and she was champion for the first time, I was bored. Her reign bored me because it was literally half the time Dakota helping her. And then when she lost the belts and started working her way back up, that's when I liked her again.
Well, I think it would be interesting to see him carving a path through, like disappear for a while, let the people miss him, and then come back and carve his way back to the top. But I think that he is, I don't want to say the new Brock Lesnar, but like the new guy that whenever he shows up, you can expect that they're going to put a title on him pretty soon.
I mean, it feels like the bloodline is like evolution, as Chris would have had mentioned when we were talking about factions. He was like, "Oh, I don't like evolution because they're just dominant. They just take over, and they're just the winners every single time." And I'm like, "That's what the bloodline's doing, and that doesn't bother you?"
Chris is biased. Chris is 1000% biased.
Well, duh.
Look,
I'm like,
I
there's
love
things that you say that don't make any sense to me. How do you expect me to agree with you with everything if half the stuff you say makes no sense?
Oh gosh, please don't get me started on EC. Please.
I mean, we can talk about that for a while, but we can't because he'll find it and he won't be happy. It's not that I care, but
he'll live. He'll be fine.
So Roman's like, I've destroyed everybody. Nobody's gonna come out. I'm like, y'all want to know who's next, but nobody is coming because, like I said, I've already beaten everybody. But there's a challenge for the Usos because they beaten RK-Bro, but they want another fight. And then they come back into the ring, and Roman's in his face, like Randy's in his face, telling Randy, "Oh, you didn't smash John Cena. He's 10 times the star that you've ever been." And then then Riddle gets in his face and cuts him off to get things back on track. And then they want the match. The Usos accept, and then the show ends with Riddle kneeing Roman in the face, and then they run out the ring.
Oh my!
I love that. I was like, whoever wrote that was genius. Thank you for doing something good and creative today.
I gasped.
I was happy.
I'm sure, considering how much you don't like Roman. I was just like, oh no, he got away with that?
Well, they ran out of the ring quick enough. That's why they got away with it.
Oh my gosh.
If they stayed in the ring, the Usos would have dropped them a super kick to the face. To both of them. I'm sure nothing else would happen.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I had checked out. I was like, okay, they're going to, because they did the thing. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to have 2 belts here, and then he's going to have 2 belts here.
I was waiting for them to say, and y'all going to have no belts nowhere.
Do you think they're going to lose?
I don't think so. My heart says I don't want them to lose, but my head's like, they had the bloodline so over. What are they going to do with those 2 to have them lose? Are they going to have them really turn into Roman's lapdogs? Like if we were in The Godfather, instead of a cat, it'd be 2 dogs?
I think that's kind of where things are going. However, to play devil's advocate here, if they get both titles, it doesn't seem like they unified the main titles, so I highly doubt they're going to do that with the tag team titles. I think everything is going to stay separate, because if they were going to unveil a big new shiny united title, they would have done it already.
Yep.
So my whole thing is, who are they about to put over by allowing somebody to beat the Usos or Roman Reigns of the bloodline? I think the Usos will take the loss first. Obviously, they got to protect Roman for as long as possible. But when you have somebody or a faction that is that dominant, it can only put the next guy over that, okay, they beat them. And I hope that it's a clean win and not just, oh, they stole one, because these are the heels. We shouldn't feel sympathy for the heels if a babyface shouldn't be cheating in the first place. But even if they did sneak one by the tights or whatever, I don't want to feel sympathy for the bloodline. They're the bad guys. How dare you not acknowledge the tribal chief? Of course.
I don't acknowledge that tribal chief, and I don't acknowledge you as my tribal chief. Move on.
He doesn't acknowledge me as the UPR champion, so...
He will never acknowledge anybody that isn't the UPR champion that isn't him. He will never acknowledge Jack. He won't acknowledge Willie, Big Daddy Cool, me if I ever win it. He will never acknowledge anybody that isn't him.
Overall, this was a really solid episode of SmackDown. 2 hours went by fairly quickly.
That's why SmackDown's the A show, unlike with Raw, which is way too long.
I just want to say I timed it for this specific purpose. This will be my last point for the night. Coming from AEW, has a lot of wrestling on our shows, albeit sometimes to its detriment. It took until 8:17 for the first bell to ring for the first wrestling match to start. This is a wrestling show.
I know.
Last time I checked.
Oh, I know.
But
when they got segments like that they like to draw stuff out, not to mention with the recap from Backlash.
Oh, when did they start using like actual clips and not just pictures?
In the beginning.
In the beginning?
In the very beginning, they did a little recap of Backlash. Then they
No. I know what you're talking about. What I'm saying is, I remember back when I watched WWE, this was probably going on 5 years ago at this point. Or no, not that long, 3 years ago. But anyway, they would only do the clips, like not even the clips. It was just a still shot when they were referencing a pay-per-view. Like, oh, yeah, so-and-so did a flip off the top rope. I know they don't flip over there. But like, it was just a picture. But now they're doing the actual like clips.
I guess they did it to make a point. I don't know.
Okay, I was gonna say I didn't know if that was like a recent change but I like it. I think that that's cool. Whatever event has already happened, so yeah, show the footage you already took.
Yeah, exactly. Even EC says that 8:17. That's early.
Oh, I think EC may have answered my question here in the chat here as well.
Yep.
They use the pictures when they're trying to sell the pay-per-view replay. That makes sense. If you didn't actually see it, then
and there you go. And if not, it's all there on Peacock. But then again, not all people want to pay $4.99 a month for, which that's the only thing I pay for when it comes to subscription. So,
and it's interesting too because $4.99 the network itself used to be $10, so that's half the price.
Exactly, with a lot more to offer on there too, so it's even better.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I'm gonna post some quick plugs before we wrap it up for tonight.
Sounds good.
So every Monday at 6, you got Perfect Plex Talk Radio, the show for the intelligent wrestling fan with Mike Knox and Dice Man, DJ Dice over there. And after that, after Raw at 11 or a little later, depending when they're on, you got Big Daddy Cool and the executive consultant talking all things Raw, which should be interesting for what's coming up this week. On Tuesdays, you got Bad Guy Jack and Captain Shakespeare talking about all things that happen at NXT here in my lovely town of Orlando, Florida, where I live 20 minutes away from where it happens. On Wednesdays, you can catch the lovely married couple of UPR, the Divine Intervention, and All Elite Joker talking about everything that happens on All Elite Wrestling. It's from everything to MJF and Wardlow to Jade Cargill never, ever getting a 0 on her losing streak for Lord knows what reason.
Yes, Jade Cargill reigns supreme.
With movies and TV shows being discussed every other Tuesdays or Thursdays and Saturdays, depending on what is happening. And then on Fridays, you get myself and whichever co-host happens to be available that day. You get the Wrestling Doll talking all things Smackdown, with plenty more to come. Not to mention the upcoming premium live events we'll be having. This new name is so weird. We'll be having Hell in a Cell in less than a month on June 5th. And then Money in the Bank, July 2nd. We got a lot to look forward to and plenty more to come as the year goes on.
Nice. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, everybody.
I mean, you got to do it. If you're not, then what are you waiting for? Show us the love. I mean, we give all our love and hard work to you all. And that is it for the night. Have a good night, everybody. And look forward to everything we have, especially on here, UPR Wrestling, UPR Entertainment, and UPR Gaming, too.
Thanks for having me, Wrestling Doll.
No problem.